There you go.
Perfect. So today's lesson, we're going to be starting to focus on the Nazis' motive for war. But before we do that, I would like you guys to, on your packet, the front of your packet, I would like you guys to imagine you're a German citizen. And for all this time in World War I, you have been told that your country would win the war. But news came, you've lost the war, and you have to pay all the reparations for the war. How do you feel? How do you react? And what would you do? And I also want to know, do you think this might have led to the Nazis to start World War II? I'd like for you guys on that sheet of paper to answer those questions for me. All right, it's all right if you're not done. Can someone give me how they would react to the situation?
I would be very upset.
You'd be very upset. What would you do in this kind of situation?
I would have been that I would have been heated because I got lied to. So
I would move.
So leading to these reactions in German citizens, you all could have guessed that they were a little bit roasted about losing this war. But from all these reactions and all that, do you think this situation could maybe lead the Nazis to start this war? The war? Do you think they might have used this as a catalyst for their political agenda? Maybe? Well, this is going to lead me into, but first we need to get into our groups. The group formations, you are Group E, Group C, and Group D. Sorry if I switched the letters. C, sorry. Now that we have the group formations, I would like to do the standard. For the standard, I only want to focus on not all of this, but the totalitarianism and Hitler. We're going to do this later in the semester, Mussolini and Stalin. Can someone name me the first learning target?
I can explain one primary motive of the Nazis for World War II using a primary source.
And can somebody name... Actually, I'm sorry, that was not supposed to be one, that was supposed to be 3 primary motives. Apologies, that was a typo. And then someone name the homework for me?
I can explain one motive behind the Nazi motive for World War II political cartoons.
Okay, so that leads us into behavioral expectations. I would like you guys to not go ahead and read the primary sources because that's important. I would like you guys to read when the time starts. And also, be respectful because some of this is very sensitive material. Just be respectful when addressing your peers. And please, indoor voices, please. It doesn't have to be a library, but don't be so loud that everybody disrupts the other classrooms. Okay, so here we come to the hypothesis. Why did the Nazis start World War II? Can anybody give me some motives that they might have encountered in their other classes?
Living space.
Living space. Okay, so living space. Can somebody name any other motives that they might have encountered?
Economic reasons, like not being able to pay off the debt.
So economics. Is there any other factors you guys might think of for motives for starting a war? Okay. Now that we've had the hypothesis formation, we're going to come to readdress the real problem, what we're really faced with. The Nazis have started World War II, but the reasons are unknown. You are discovered what the reasons are for starting World War II. Our main tackle is to find out, why did the Nazis start World War II? So I would like you guys to go to your next page on besides your academic language and read the sources for about 2 minutes and discuss with group members what that motive is with your source. It's in this stuff. Each group has a different article, and each one is going to read a different one. Miss Calkin, I didn't mean that typo on the screen. Is that fine? Is that right? It'll be All right, looks like we're done reading. If it's okay if you don't finish, but I would like for you to guys to discuss with your members what you found out.
He's blaming all the problems that came from Germany beginning World War I and all the problems that happened after World War I. They're blaming it on the Jews. The very first one talks about the financial Jews, and so they're talking about they're the ones that are keeping them dead. And it just kind of continues on into the very last one where they're saying that the Jews are going to say that they're the victim in this situation when they're not. So it's basically just like blaming the Jews for their own problems.
It gives the end all be all. It's either going to be all the German people are going to be exterminated or...
Hey, so what have you guys come up with?
Basically that there's like Hitler is blaming the Jews and Judaism for like all of the problems that have caused has been caused in Germany. It's either the Jews or all of Germany that are gonna have to.
So how could they use that as a motive for the war for that article? I think maybe Jewish extermination, maybe to start a war.
The idea of eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, and
They did this to us, so we'll do it to them, kind of thing.
So Jewish extermination a little bit, like he's trying to like to his political agenda, maybe. Okay, so what have you guys come up with?
They're expanding their empire, taking over the world and putting it under German rule.
Okay, so
No one else is good leaders as they
So
are.
is there something we can simplify that into like one
Living space.
living space?
Ribbons from, or just,
Maybe world domination.
I was going to say conflict.
So what have you guys come up with?
They said that Germany glorified like the idea of war to like rally people, and then they did that so that they could regain power.
Maybe like militarization.
Yeah.
Does that be a good word to use?
Yeah,
All right, guys, let's come back together as a group. So, would anyone like to volunteer first to what ideas they came up with?
We came up with world domination as their motive.
Can you give me something in the article that would perhaps validate?
Well, here it says, then there will begin the dawn of the German rule of the earth. And they talk about taking over Poland and Russia and Japan and the little European states.
So you don't think really anybody in the world was safe from world domination? You think the Nazis really just wanted to take over the whole world, maybe?
I think the Nazis thought that nobody was safe from world domination.
What about your guys' group? What did you have?
We found that a lot of what they were saying is they were blaming all of the problems that were caused after losing World War I. They were using the Jews as their scapegoat and selling the German people that they're the reason for all the problems. And so they used the idea in the like Jewish law, like eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, and they used that law against them. Like, well, you did this to us, then we're going to start a war and do it to you.
So blame the Jews. Blame the Jews. What did your group have?
We talked about how the Nazis wanted to try to glorify war to kind of rally the nation and motivate people to both support the Nazis at home, but also to make them want to expand and get those resources from other countries like Congress talked about.
So like militarization, maybe, like the use of arms, because. Since now that we're done with the basics, I want to dig deeper into this issue. For the first question, anybody can answer this, but why did the Nazis need militarization? Why do they need that? Oh, sorry.
They had been demilitarized after World War I, so they needed to like boost up their armies and get weapons.
Maybe to bolster their political agenda, eventually. Okay, for the second question, why do you think the Nazis wanted to dominate the world?
Just resources and, like Carmen said first, living space. So, like, space for what they would consider to be real Germans to move into and essentially colonize.
Okay. And for the third question, why did the Nazis use extermination? Why did they want to annihilate the Jews?
They wanted to essentially create like a utopia and like clean the bloodline so that all of the people that were within Germany would be of German heritage and
Okay. For the fourth and final question, does this perhaps suggest any connections between the three motives? Do you think that all of them have something in common?
Nationalism, I would say extreme nationalism on the part of the Nazis.
Maybe preservation of the Aryan race, maybe because it might suggest that Hitler was crazy, just a little bit. For review, I'd like to review the hypothesis we first came up with. So what we first came up with as a class, we came up with the living space and the economics. And for the review of the research, group one, what did you have?
You said that the Nazi Party was sort of blaming the Jews for all the problems that came out of World War I.
So they're blaming Jews.
And get rid of them.
Okay, and then group two, what did you have for your research?
World domination.
World domination. Group three?
Militarism and militarization.
Okay, a review of the deep analysis. We don't have to answer every question, but just give me a brief summary. Can someone give me a brief summary of what we just went over? For the deeper analysis, like maybe how did all these things, what all these motives had in common?
the Germans pretty much just wanted to rule the world and have a perfect nationalist country.
All right, and then I want to review our learning targets. There is another typo. I apologize about that. I did not mean to put one primary motive. I will read the first one since there was a typo. I can explain 3 primary motives of the Nazis for World War II using a primary source. Can someone read me the second one for their homework?
I can explain one motive behind a Nazi motive for World War II political cartoon.
For your homework, I would like you to explain one motive that the political cartoon is conveying using your own preference of explanation that was passed out at the beginning of class. So go to the third page, your third and final page, which there is a political cartoon of a Nazi and the Grim Reaper. That's Hitler. And what you can do on that sheet of paper for your homework, you can create a poster, drawing, writing, or whatever suits your needs in order for you to explain. But there's a catch. There's an option of doing something else. For those sources that I've handed out for you in class, you can use those sources to give textual evidence to back up your explanation for your homework. So let's say, like, if you had the Jewish blame for the war, then you can take some of the textual evidence and put it towards your evidence for your homework. And for your exit ticket, I would like you on that little index card, if you could please explain 3 motives that the Nazis used to start World War II. Huh?
Get things wrong.
Yeah. Can you guys be the low and medium? Miss Coggin.